Hi, welcome to Honors Molecular Genetics. My name is Mr. Haring, and I am your son or daughter's teacher for this course. This is back to school night, and what I plan on doing is taking you through my Google Classroom site so that you know what I expect from your son or daughter and how to navigate if they have any issues or if they're falling behind. I also want to take you through the major parts of my syllabus. What are my expectations and what are some of my rules? And then I want to show you a little of the activities and the online activities that we have and how that I present my information to your son or daughter. Okay, this is my Google Classroom site, and so this is what your son or daughter is going to be interacting with every day that they're in my class and when they're doing assignments outside of class. So the basic setup is there's a stream in front, which is kind of like updated weekly with information. It's kind of my way of getting information out to the student. There's a classwork section where they're going to get all their work and where they're going to be finding their homework and their classwork. There is like people and grades, and this is mostly for me, but they can see how they're doing in class because I do grade in Google Classroom as well as Infinite Campus. One thing that I think is important for both Google Classroom and for all the assignments and programs we use on the computer is that the Google Chrome works the best. So I would like every student to download the browser Chrome and use it, the most up-to-date version. If you're on an Apple, there is a Google app or a Chrome app, excuse me, that you can download, and everything will work smoother. And they also have to be logged into their Heart District Google account. So things won't be as smooth if they're not logged into that. Okay, so on the stream, the only thing I really put in is the week's assignment. And so sometimes I put it in a video form as well as listed here, but this time I just listed it and it kind of gives the student a heads up on Sunday night what they expect for the week. Okay, most of their time is going to be spent in the classwork section. In the classwork section, up at the top, I always have the information that stays the same. Sometimes I add things to the bottom, but they're always going to have their link for Zoom right here, ready to go. I've already scheduled them for the whole semester. They'll have their daily agenda. They'll have a school schedule, what are weekly topics, where I'll show that in a little bit, a syllabus, and then a contract or a survey, but they're already done with that, and then how to contact their counselor. And then if you look here on the side, we're going to have all the topics we're going to cover for the semester. And so I have them already ready to go out in order. They only see them as I populate them. And right now we're just on topic 1. So your student only sees topic 1. But so let me just show you quickly how I organize that. So here's topic 1, inheritance patterns. We're really studying how Mendel figured out alleles and genes and how they're passed on from generation to generation, and then how we didn't figure out and what we know now. So the oldest is always on top, and the most recent is at the bottom. This might be a little different than their other classes, but I know that they're already used to it. So I always drag things to the bottom. What's the most recent we've done? Anything you see with a number is a graded assignment. So here are the graded assignments. This is something we did in class, a graded assignment, a quiz. You see a number there, that's a graded assignment. So we have quite a few graded assignment. This is just a reading. It's not a graded assignment. That's just a chapter that they were reading. And then here's some practice problems to help them get ready. Down at the bottom, I have a question and answer with Mr. Haring. So if they have any questions, they can fill that out and it'll go directly to me and I'll be able to help them. This Google Classroom is very organized and it's a easy way. They can see due dates and when things are coming up right over here, and they can make sure that they get them in on time and they know what is due and when it is. I want to highlight a few important parts of the syllabus that I went over already with your students. So our units are right there. After we finish inheritance patterns, just tomorrow we're going to start finishing that. We'll go to human genetics, and that'll be pedigrees and diseases and things passed on from generation to generation that we can study in humans. Then we'll start focusing in just on the molecule of DNA and how it functions and how it produces a protein. And then finally, the very most exciting part is how recombinant DNA and genetic engineering works. Now, if they were to take this class in my classroom, we would be cutting DNA with restriction enzymes. We'd be running them on gels. We would be separating their proteins. We would take DNA from a jellyfish. We'd put DNA inside a bacteria. It's called transformation, and make that bacteria glow, so we know that it got the DNA. Really exciting stuff. That is very cutting edge and really awesome. It really is why students take this class, is to do the hands-on stuff, and it's just a shame right now we can't, but hopefully in the future we can. Okay, so There is a DNA textbook. I haven't loved it for the first couple chapters, so I've been putting them on Google Classroom, a different textbook that they can use, and I think it's easier to read and understand. A computer, a tablet, or Chromebook, I highly recommend a computer or a Chromebook. The best, some of these activities and online simulations don't work on a tablet or a phone, so I want them to have some kind of laptop or computer. They can always get a Chromebook, an up-to-date one from West Ranch High School, and it's free of charge, and they give them out to students so that they can use them for the semester. I also want a drive or a folder devoted to genetics. So what are my expectations? I expect your students to be on time, awake, and ready to go when class starts at 8:30 in the morning if they're in my first class. I take attendance, I take tardies, and so it's just like normal school. I expect them to be there. I also expect them to fully participate. Sometimes it's kind of lonely just talking at the students. So I really am working hard to do student interaction and have me interact with them and them share, and also put them in small breakout rooms so they can interact with each other. I don't like a quiet classroom in my real classroom, and I don't like a quiet internet classroom either. I like to make a lot of questions and get kids involved. There is a late work policy. It has to be on time, or every day it's 25% off. So in about 4 days, they are down to no assignments. I'm giving maximum leeway this time because I know there's computer issues. So, but pretty soon in the next week or so, I'll probably be tightening that up. It's always important to be honest. How do we know what we learned if we just got the assignment from somebody else, or we looked on someone else's quiz or test? And this is an elective, so I'm not looking to try and separate the real smart from the not the kids who aren't trying. I'm trying to get everybody to understand the material. So it's best just to be who you are, and Mr. Haring will help your student if they're struggling. I really think that's important. Now, netiquette is how to behave on the internet. And the most important thing I think that comes from this, I'm not going to just read them to you, is that behind every screen and behind every interaction is a human. And so how you treat other people online, what you type, even the case or the bold, how you type makes a difference. So just know there's a human out there, and that people get hurt feelings. And at the same point, we have to be forgiving, because, how many times do I get a text and I misunderstand what someone said? And we just got to be forgiving, and students are still learning and learning their beliefs and who they are. So we have to help each other out. I do have this how to behave on video calls, just so we've had no problems at all in my class. But be on time, stay engaged, mute your mic unless you're talking. It says there, raise your hand if you have a question, but I mostly want kids to unmute and just ask it, because it's such a quiet experience if it's just me talking. Take notes and do the best you can to look at your cameras so people see you. 60% is assignments. This is a little different than I'd probably do in my class, just because I'm not there with them, and so I want to give them as much opportunity to be doing these assignments, and that's going to be the majority of their grade. But 40% are test quizzes in the final. It's a basic standard grading scale, so there's no surprises there. So I think all students can enjoy this class and do well. Some of the way that I get around not being in class and doing the online activities is that we've bought some important simulations that have the students do the lab as if they're the actual scientists. So you can see that there's a lab equipment here, and there's you can see this hand here down at the bottom, and this is what the student is manipulating with their mouse, and they have to pick things up. They got to use pipettes. They have to make sure they're gloved up. They have to be set at the right temperature. They have to turn on the burner. They have to plate it, whatever we're doing. And there's I can show you, I can back up and show you, there's many genetics labs, and dealing with all kinds of situations. You can see that we're doing cloning, and how does the genetics of Parkinson's disease and pigment extraction, polymerase chain reaction. This is kind of cool. This one, it's not showing, but this one's a crime scene, and you have to pick up the blood, figure out the DNA, do PCR to expand the DNA, and then figure out who did it and who's a possible suspect. Very high level, good graphics, and it's very engaging. Now, it doesn't work with tablets or cell phones, so they need to be on a computer. So I would suggest then get a Chromebook. And as always, being in the Chrome browser is very important to all this stuff working successfully, and also having the most up-to-date browser is important. Okay, here's another simulation. They just finished this one this week. So this one, they're planting plants and doing genetic crosses, and so it's the same kind of thing. It's very hands-on. They plant it, um, they um, they start it, they grow it. So let's see what happens here. You can see that they grow it, and they can pause it at a certain time, and oh, we're going to cross purple stemmed green leaves with green stem yellow leaves, and they can count them. They can use, this is called a bee stick. They can pollinate them. So they can see crosses, so they can see what happens genetically to these. So then we can just grow these ones up, and then we can collect the seeds and do our genetic analysis. So it's a great tool to study genetics and for students to see in real life, what's going on virtually, but with a real life simulation. So the hallmark of my class, both first semester and second semester, is the first semester is genetics and the second semester is microbiology, which we focus on bacteria, is that we're in the lab all the time. So this is a big shock for me and how I'm going to work the class and make sure that it's enjoyable for the students, because naturally when the kids are working almost every day in the lab, it's enjoyable. So I think I've done a successful transition to that. I feel like the students are enjoying the class and we're learning good stuff and we're going in depth. And so I just hope that we can get back either this semester doing real labs, crossing my fingers, or next semester, especially next semester, is very, very intense labs, and the students really love learning all about bacteria and how to identify them. So again, this is Honors Molecular Genetics. I'm very approachable. You can email me anytime if you have any questions. I understand internet issues and people who are struggling and have busy schedules and things like that. So whatever I can do to help out is what I want to do. So have a great day, and that's it.